One of my earliest memories is sitting in my bedroom with my father as he showed me pictures of different animals in an encyclopedia. I thought to myself, how did it happen that I was born a human rather than a fish or a bird? Later in college, I read a book about Buddhist meditation which claimed that in between the breaths, there is a moment of stillness within which it was possible to see what happens after death. This idea really fascinated me, and I started a daily practice of paying attention to my breath. The point of all of this was to come out of all suffering. One day I sat down to meditate, and I entered a state where there was no breath, no pain, no suffering, no body. It was everything I'd been reading about. So much happiness came over me, so much joy. And I'd enter it every time I would sit down. Then one day I couldn't get back to that state. The more I tried, the more frustrated I got. And for the first time, I became really depressed. That took me on a journey from the United States across South Korea, India, Nepal, Thailand. And eventually I came to Myanmar, to a large monastery called the Phanuthep Forest Meditation Center. I decided to stay there for at least a year to make my stay more meaningful. I used to think that becoming a monk or nun meant taking lifelong vows of strict discipline. But I realized that although some people did become monks or nuns for life, most did so just temporarily, from as little as a couple days or weeks to as long as many months or even years. And oftentimes they did this multiple times throughout their life. So I felt kind of relieved, and I decided to also become a monk. Myanmar is like one big monastic community where everybody supports each other. I noticed this every day when I went out with my alms bowl and I would see the people and how generously they would offer their food. By Western standards, they are considered to be living in poverty. Their houses are often made of bamboo, but they would volunteer their time and labor to construct large monasteries. It was inspiring to see how much faith and devotion they have. And it was only thanks to this that I was able to practice peacefully, without financial worries, with free food, housing, healthcare, clothes, so that I could really focus all my attention on meditation. For a while I remained confused as I tried to understand the essence of the practice. But after about 6 months I started to gain clarity, and one day in September of 2014, all of the questions and confusion that I'd had for the past 28 years seemed to come into proper perspective. I had been like a person who, due to his own ignorance, tries to reach the horizon. Until one day I gave up, and my mind became calm and relaxed, and I realized that the meeting of earth and sky was right underneath my feet. The horizon, I was standing on it since the beginning. I became aware of my environment, my body, the residential cabins where I lived, the trees, the stillness in the air. And for the first time, I could see that I was nature itself without beginning or end. That which is born a human is like a gust of wind which spirals into the shape of a tornado due to the force of passion. And due to ignorance, I had been thinking that I was this shape. Now I knew that I was not that. And I could see that the clarity which had arisen in my mind was only made possible thanks to the supportive and meditative environment of the monastery. And I also knew that everyone has the same potential, if only they're given the opportunity to unwind and process all of the stuff which needs processing. Monasteries and meditation centers are a resource for all of us, and I encourage you to take advantage of them. They're places for spiritual refuge, so that you may find that inner peace, that harmony, that clarity, and all the answers that you've been seeking for so long.